He could.
This is the Tom and Jerry Sports Show
on All Noise Radio.
I'm Jerry.
Go.
And I'm Tom.
Oh. What? Shoot, he scored! What a play by Tavares! What? Wait.
All Noise Radio. The noise. You can't ignore.
And welcome back to another episode of the Tom and Jerry Sports Show on All Noise Radio and the Live 365 app. Since the time that we did our last week's show, we have a new World Series champion. What I have to say, though, is Madison Bumgarner.
Unreal.
I mean, does it get any better than that? I mean, in the World Series...
I think technically it doesn't, because I believe he broke every record that you could.
He had a .25 ERA in the World Series in 3 games. He pitched 3 games.
I think it was 20 innings, around 20 innings in the World Series.
I think it was 36, wasn't it?
No, for the World Series. For the World Series.
And we talked about this last week. If it came to a Game 7, would Madison Bumgarner be pitching? And he didn't start.
But I think it turned out even better, honestly.
It did.
I mean, thankfully for the Giants, who was it? Hudson, I believe, that started. Did good enough to, it wasn't...
He got a little shaky in the second.
But at least, he didn't get rocked, and the decision came that, they should have started Bumgarner. It came down to, he got a solid 5, and Bumgarner just came in and finished it out. So... obviously Bruce Bochy is a little bit better of a baseball manager than us, so he did the right thing, obviously.
Yeah, it was a good move.
Yeah,
and I mean, just the way that he was pitching, you gotta think if he started this game, I think he's going 9 innings.
Yeah, no, that's why we said if is a Game 7, he should be the starter, but. A 5-inning closer, I think anybody would take that.
His command was a little off in his first inning out there. And then after that, it didn't even come close.
Yeah.
I mean, a 1-run game, and it wasn't even close, Like that was one of those things. Like, you saw him warming up in the bullpen, Giants up 1.
You're feeling pretty good as a Giants fan.
You don't think anything's gonna happen. I mean, it wasn't even close. Like I said, the score was a 1-run game.
Might as well have been 5 with him.
It could have been 10, 11, 12, whatever it was. I mean, he was unstoppable. He was unstoppable. He was unhittable. It wasn't even fair.
Yeah, I know.
For the Royals.
He's definitely got a little bit of money coming his way, I would assume.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, that's... When you break World Series records, that's, been around for how many years now? And not only that, but the pitchers on that list that he also, did better than in the World Series, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing, you would have to assume, because as a .25 ERA
is ridiculous.
In a World Series with at least 20 innings pitched is...
ridiculous.
Absurd. Absolutely absurd.
And like this whole thing, like, we talked about it last week. Are the Giants a dynasty? 3 in 5 years. Last team to do something like that was the Yankees with 4 in 5 years.
The only thing that kind of hurts it is the 2 years they didn't even make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I mean, that really shouldn't have any effect on the fact that 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
I mean, that's... You don't do that very much in pro sports anymore. That's why that word is being tossed around with this team.
I mean, their pitching is just... Their pitching is unbelievable.
And they're just the time of hitting with, Sandoval always coming up clutch like he did in Game 7. Hunter Pence is another one of those players, scrappy.
Morse.
Fits right in with the Giants. Morse. They're just a team that knows how to... Once they're in the postseason, they just get it done. And I said once they actually did get in, they're probably just going to win it all. That's just what they do when they get into the postseason.
And the thing is, they're primarily young.
Yeah, no, there's not.
I mean, I think their oldest was Affeldt.
A couple starters are again, PV and Hudson, obviously, but those are. I don't want to say replaceable, but they kind of are.
They were end of the order kind of pitchers. I mean, you got guys like Tim Lincecum, you got guys like Bumgarner, just right there. when you get into the playoffs, all you need is 3 or 4 pitchers.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, right there, you got 2 that are solid. And, I mean, it worked out for them. It really did. I mean, they didn't need... I mean, they lost the games that obviously Bumgarner didn't pitch.
Yeah.
But, I mean, when he was in there, I mean, it was just... If he can continue that...
It's going to be interesting to see, where he picks up next year. Obviously, it's a pretty long layoff in between seasons, but I would expect around the same.
Yeah.
A steady start. Nothing to this proportion, but I expect him to be pretty much a bona fide ace next year.
Now, like the thing is with these kind of, I guess I put quotes around it. Cinderella stories like the Royals.
Mm-hmm.
The thing with this is, you usually see these kind of Cinderella story teams go to the World Series or, the Super Bowl or, the NBA championship, whatever it is, you see them go there, and if they don't win it, you don't see them go back to it.
Yeah, no, you're right, yeah.
You don't see that happen. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Royals take next season, and now all these teams are going to be coming after you, especially in the AL. It's not going to be an easy road for the Royals next year.
No, it's not. It's going to be a lot different. This year they were that underdog team, as you're saying, but next year everything's different. I mean, it's a year later. You were the top team in that conference, I guess you can call it.
You were known as a World Series team.
Yeah. And not only that, Game 7 came down to the wire, 1-run game. So, they're right there, as 1 run away from 2 runs away from being World Series champs. So
90 feet away from being tied in the World Series.
So, I mean, you have that target on your back now, and it's going to be interesting to see how they play with that.
Yeah,
they're not the young kids on the block or whatever you want to call them.
Exactly. And they declined to exercise Billy Butler's option. So we'll see what happens with that.
He's a good guy, Billy Butler.
Yeah.
Always, just solid player.
Absolutely. But we're going to get into football. We got week 8, I believe. Week 8, yes. It was another good week of football. It was. There was some decent games. I mean, you had the Patriots, Denver.
Yeah. You always have those 1 or 2 games, and usually one game you don't expect to be close, but ends up being close.
Exactly. But we're going to get right into this. Thursday night, 28-10, Saints-Panthers.
And as we said before, last week, this is a time where the Saints are probably going to start rolling now. A few wins in a row. The rest of the division's playing really bad. I think they're going to start taking off now.
Another good game from Mark Ingram. 30 rushes, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, you can't get any better than that. Cam Newton's just been struggling this year.
Yeah,
he really has been struggling. You don't know if he's injured. You don't like.
I think it has to do with that a little bit, and he only has really one wide receiver that he seems
Benjamin.
to trust.
Yeah,
and kind of forces it to him at times.
They have no run game either.
Yeah,
and
they also have like $100 million invested into that running game.
Exactly, but we'll get right into the 1:00 games on Sunday. Cowboys Cardinals. 6-1 and 6-2 teams.
Would have been a better game, obviously, if Mr. 9 was there.
Well, that's my thing. Like, I think, to my honest opinion, not even just being a Cowboys fan, but my honest opinion, if Romo's in this game, I think the Cowboys win.
Yeah, or at minimum, we're looking at a different score, a different feel of the game.
Just because Whedon wasn't really touched. I think he was sacked once.
Mm-hmm.
This team was supposedly the top blitzing team in the league, best rushing defense in the league, last in passing defense. So right there, it's tough because now they know that Whedon is their quarterback.
Yeah.
You have the leading rusher in the league. So what are they going to do? They're going to take their best rushing defense and stack 9 in the box because they want Whedon to beat them. And you know what? Whedon did not beat them at all. I mean, he looked scared. He looked so off.
Yeah.
The throws were off. I mean, he didn't complete a pass to a wide receiver until the third quarter, and that was Cole Beasley.
I was going to say, yeah, I think another problem was he was trying to force feed Dez Bryant.
But that's another thing that kind of annoyed me a little bit with Joe Buck and
No, I noticed that too.
Troy Aikman.
Yeah, I'm staying away from that, but I don't want to say you saw it a little bit, but
no,
you definitely
did.
saw a little frustration, and we didn't saw that and tried to force feed him
The thing that annoyed me was...
it wasn't, as you're about to say, Dez coming off as arrogant. It wasn't. No, there was none of that.
That was the thing. Like, that kind of annoyed me a little bit with Troy Aikman and Joe Buck saying that they needed to pacify him.
Yeah.
They needed to make him happy. You got to force the ball to him early so that he's happy, and that's not how Dez Bryant is anymore. Like, that's not how he is. Yeah, he wants to...
Any wide receiver would want catches.
Exactly. He wants to win the game. But when you're running a route and you're open against a guy that has been in his back pocket the whole game, and you can't put it in between his numbers, anybody's going to be angry with that. Anybody.
It's just a combination of Patrick Peterson against him and Weeden as his quarterback.
Yeah.
You're most likely not going to have a very good day.
See, even just the passes that were thrown to Dez would have caught if they were in his vicinity.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Patrick Peterson played him hard, but...
There still would have been catchable ones.
Exactly. I mean, just even the touchdown at the end of the game, Patrick Peterson was all over him, and he still caught the ball. That brings up another point that I definitely saw. The problem these days now in football is, the taunting, the celebrating and everything. We're seeing celebrations turn into season-ending injuries and everything. Don't get me wrong. I love the celebrations. I think they're ridiculous with the flags. I think Ocho Cinco's. I love those.
I mean, the old touchdown celebration. Nothing will get better than that. But like this first down, I'm not gonna.
This is what I'm talking about. I love the celebrations, but when you're down, don't celebrate.
Yeah, that should be a rule.
It comes to the point where, like last week with Lamar Houston.
Yeah.
You're down 25. You sack the backup quarterback, and you have to celebrate.
Yeah.
Let alone tear your ACL and you're out for the season. You just look like an idiot.
Yeah. There's no... I'm not down with the celebrations for first downs and things like that. Touchdowns I'm fine with. It's very hard to get into the end zone. But...
I mean, don't get me wrong.
The first downs and the losing,
that kind of stuff. If you're winning, go right ahead. Go right ahead. You make yourself look like an idiot a little bit.
Yeah.
But you're celebrating something that is good. When you're losing, nothing that you do is ever gonna. Unless you're down by 7 or a one possession game.
Yeah.
One possession game. You're down by more than one possession. There's no reason to celebrate.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get to my point. Obviously, it's been getting there. But I'm going to get to my point when we get back from the break. You're listening to Tom and Jerry Sports Show on All Noise Radio on the Live 365 app. Keep it live.
This is boom bap, rude rap, roof back, cool cats, too smooth, yelling screw you to the new jack, big split, misfit, outcast, outlast, anything. You say you...
Be sure to listen to the Tom and Jerry Sports Show on allnoiseradio.com and the Live 365 app, Wednesdays and Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern.
Blows, cars, ground up. What up?
And welcome back to the Tom and Jerry Sports Show on All Noise Radio and the Live 365 app. I'm going to let Jerry... finish this point about the celebrations.
Yeah, my point was Dez Bryant catches a pass for a touchdown with, I think it was maybe a minute left. Let alone you're down by, you're still down by 11.
Yeah.
There's no chance of winning this game. Dez Bryant catches the pass. Now, usually when he catches touchdowns, he'll do something where he points up to the crowd and then throws the X, or he's always throwing up the X. Dez Bryant catches this touchdown, a good one too. It was a great catch. Puts the ball down. his teammates come up to celebrate with him, he kind of just gives them a high five and then walks off the field. Right there should show you the maturity that he has gone through in his first 3 or 4 years in the league. His rookie year, Dez Bryant puts up the X. The second year, Dez Bryant throws up the X. Third year, probably not. That's the. I think, is this his third year or is his fourth year? I think it's his. I believe it's his fourth.
I think it is. I was leaning fourth as well.
So it's just everything that Dez has gone through. He's mature now. He's a mature wide receiver. But even to the point where his teammates on the sidelines, his coaches and everything, when you got the media, all of a sudden, when something's not going right. I mean, how many times did you see the camera go on to Dez Bryant in that game yesterday?
Just waiting. They're just it's like they want.
Exactly.
They're waiting for him to do something.
And he didn't do anything. He sat on the bench. Obviously upset, but I mean, who wasn't upset? In a Dallas Cowboy uniform. It just shows how mature he's gotten since his second year in the league.
Yeah.
And for the media to always try to make something bad of it, like last year when he was screaming on the sidelines, but yet he was mic'd up for that game.
Yeah.
And they caught everything that he was saying. All that media turned back. They're like, oh, well, maybe Dez Bryant actually is a passionate player, and he's passionate about his team winning. That's what I'm talking about. I just, that was something that stuck out with me through this game that I was actually really happy about. And another thing is, how many people appreciate Tony Romo now?
I was waiting to bring that up. I mean, for the Cowboy fans that don't want Romo, there you go.
Right there.
Do you want this team or do you want Romo back? I mean, it's pretty simple, and when it comes down to it, really.
To be honest, I'm okay with, if he can't go, then don't force it. Yeah. Don't force it. In a sense, I was like, you know what? We have a good offensive line. We have a great running back. I think we can win this game. I think we can win next week's game against the Jaguars. I think we could maybe just rest him.
I would rest him for the Jaguars. I really would.
Now,
I wouldn't even fly him to London.
I was okay with, I thought I was okay with it. I thought, Whedon was going to be decent. But if Romo could play, I'd rather him over Whedon no matter what. But my thing is now, I don't even think Whedon could even beat the Jaguars, to be honest with you.
I wouldn't fly Romo to Europe.
He's already flying. He's actually there in the air right now at this moment.
I wouldn't have done that. That's just me. I mean, it's the Jaguars. No, I know they're professionals and everything. I get that, but you can just run the ball 45 times in the Jaguars and most likely win. You probably don't even have to throw the ball.
Yeah,
and you can win. So, for that reason alone. Granted, I know they need a win. The Giants are starting to play a little better. Eagles lost. It's getting a little tight in that division, so you obviously want to keep winning and you don't want to risk anything. But flying to Europe, they have a bye week after that.
Yeah.
I would have let Romo get his rest here, 2-3 weeks, get his treatment, and be ready after the bye. That's me.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Romo's going to be suited up in London for that game.
I mean, like a 9-hour flight, a bad back.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
This is what Romo's injury was. It was he had 2 fractured transverse process. Nobody knows what that is. You'd have to look it up.
Two back fractures.
Yeah, it's something that's hooked. It's kind of connected to his spine. Very painful, but it's playable. You can play with it. Many players have played with it a full season. Many players, I think the most that a player has missed was 1 game for it. And I think that's what's going to happen this week.
I also think it's a combination of already having a bad back too,
that was the biggest thing. They were worried about that.
Because Romo's one of the toughest in the league at the quarterback position. It's not even close.
Yeah.
And it's comical when people say he's not with all of the injuries that he's played through. So I do believe that it's a combination of sorts with just having back surgery months ago and now, 2 new fractures, I think that has to play with it a little bit.
I mean, at the quarterback position, I'd have to put him up next to probably him and Ben Roethlisberger active right now are probably the toughest.
Cam is up there too because I do think he's playing hurt. But the difference with Cam is he doesn't play good when he's hurt.
Another guy that comes to mind that was a tough SOB really, Brett Favre.
Oh yeah, of course, yes.
But other than that, Romo is. The guy's played with fractured ribs, a punctured lung.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that not many players, not many people would be able to even walk or talk,
exactly.
with those kind of injuries. So Romo will most likely be in this game. Arizona was the first team this season to hold DeMarco Murray under 100 yards, but again, that was because there was no threat of a run, no threat of a pass.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you can stack the box. The whole game, Whedon had one-on-one coverage with his wide receivers the whole entire game. And all of a sudden, the last drive, he feels like completing passes.
Don't you love when you see that? I love that.
Like, why couldn't you do that all game?
I love when I see that, man.
Seriously?
It's so funny.
I know that the defense plays it a little differently, but still.
Yeah. Even when it's like a...
But you were he was putting it on the money for these wide receivers. The whole game, he was not even close to any of these wide receivers.
Yeah, I love that. Or if it's like a one-possession game, and it's like the team's last drive, and they just 8 plays right down the field and score. Yeah. It's like,
where was that?
It's a 60-minute game.
Exactly. It's annoying to see that. And the Cardinals go to 7-1.
Very, very good team.
Yeah.
Cardinals, very good.
We're gonna see what they have, to show for. They still got 2 games against Seattle.
Yeah.
They still, I think they have 1 or 2 games.
They have one with the Niners, I believe one.
And then they play the Rams, I think.
Yeah.
1 or 2. And the Rams are always tough in the division. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care how bad they are.
And they just beat the Niners yesterday.
Exactly. They're
Niners are a mess.
They really are.
Niners are a mess.
That first week against the Cowboys, everybody thought that they were, the real deal.
Yeah.
But then again, Romo was hurt in that game, and he didn't play that well.
It's very interesting to see what's going to happen. There's been a lot of connections with Michigan for Jim Harbaugh. They're not playing well. There's already, the talks of the team, not wanting Harbaugh as their coach. Now they're playing terrible football right now. They only scored 10 points yesterday. It's going to be very interesting if this keeps up and, what happens. They have one of the most talented teams in football, if not the most talented. Yeah. So, not living up to expectations.
No. But Buccaneers, Browns win this 22-17. And you know what? It's getting a lot of you're hearing a lot of frustration from Johnny Manziel. A lot of people are saying that there's a little frustration there.
Well, anybody would want to play. It's kind of the same thing with Des Bryant. It goes back to. Anybody's going to want to be out there and playing. I think it's once again the media trying to build it up again, trying to find a story because he's been irrelevant. Because the Browns are actually winning and playing good football. So I think they're digging for something there. I don't see him as that guy trying to start a problem when their team's 5-3. I don't see him, publicly looking annoyed and giving enough to the media to suggest this. I think
Hoyer's been playing well though.
Yeah,
Hoyer's been playing well. You got to kind of think about it. If he plays the whole season, do you think about even dealing Manziel? Something like that. Or, then you look at the NFC East and it's like, all right, you need a good backup.
Yeah.
You need it.
No, exactly, yeah.
Look, we're going to get into this game now. The Eagles and the Texans. Nick Foles goes down with a broken collarbone. He's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. Romo missed most of the season with a broken collarbone. So and it's the same, side that Romo did too, his non-throwing side. So I think we might be seeing Mark Sanchez for the whole season.
And honestly,
rest of the season.
I hope he does really good.
I hope
because he got destroyed by the Jets. And it wasn't even his fault. It was a combination of the fans.
Yeah.
the management of the team not
Absolutely.
giving him anything to work with, and the fact that Rex Ryan just doesn't care about offense. It all led to the backtracking of Mark Sanchez.
Yeah.
So I really hope that he had a good game yesterday. One interception wasn't his fault.
2.
He had 2, but I'm saying one wasn't his fault. The other one should have been caught.
Yeah.
I hope he does good. I really do.
The thing that you like to see though with Mark Sanchez is Chip Kelly really likes Mark Sanchez. Like he thinks that Mark Sanchez is a really good quarterback, and he's showing his enthusiasm for Mark Sanchez. You never saw that from Rex Ryan.
Exactly.
Never saw that. So
and he's a very good. He's on a very good team to flourish.
Yeah, I mean it's tough for me because I hate the Eagles.
Yes, of course.
And I don't want to see them do well. But it's like Mark Sanchez. Everybody thinks he's such a bad quarterback.
Yeah, he got done really bad, and that's why I wanted a nice bounce back for him.
Eagles hold on to win this game 31-21. Mark Sanchez was 15 or 22, 202 yards and 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions.
Also, keep in mind though, he wasn't getting first team reps at all this week.
At all. Yeah.
So he should be a little better than that next week.
And then we'll go to his ex-team, the Jets and the Chiefs. Jets are just horrendous. They're just horrendous. They're 1-8 now. They lost this game 24-10, and pretty much
it was done after the first 2 possessions.
One play summed up their whole season. Alex Smith, they were at the goal line. Alex Smith tried to throw an out pass. It ended up deflecting off of a defender's hand, and as the tight end Anthony Fasano was laying on the floor, the ball dropped right in his lap, and he rolled over into the end zone for a touchdown. That right there sums up the Jets' whole season in one play. Mike Vick ended up going out, then coming back in. Sims was in this game, their third stringer. You had Geno Smith with a hood on. You didn't even see his face the whole game. It's just they're a train wreck.
Yeah,
they really are.
And I before we go to break, I think it's kind of been done on purpose in a way by John Idzik to get rid of Rex Ryan. And I really do believe, I think they didn't get cornerbacks on purpose because he wants his own coach, which any GM would. Yeah.
Well, we're going to take a break. We're going to get back into this when we get back. You're listening to Tom and Jerry Sports Show on Old Noise Radio on the Live 365 app. Keep it live.
It's time to get trapped back, jumping.
Be sure to listen to the Tom and Jerry Sports Show on allnoiseradio.com and the Live 365 app, Wednesdays and Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern.
Hey, I'm looking for an angel. You ain't perfect, but I pray to God you worth it. I hope that this ain't worthless, cause I've been working so hard. If you need me, I'll be on the...
And welcome back to the Tom and Jerry Sports Show on All Noise Radio and the Live 365 app. We're going to keep it going a little bit with the Jets here just to... go over some things, and with the possible outcome of a number 1 pick in their sights, who would be the right guy for this team?
Now, I was talking to a couple of people about this.
Keep in mind that they're probably going to have a new coach, too, if they do get the number 1 pick.
That's got to happen. That's got to happen. Another quick thing, Jets fans raised $10,000 for a billboard that said "Fire Idzik."
Wow, it's kind of funny. I mean, everyone's with Rex.
I don't understand why.
I don't either. I get he's a good coach. Players want to play for him, but stick to defense.
He's a good defensive coordinator.
He's a great defensive coordinator. Great
head coach. I don't know.
I don't see it as a head coach. And the thing with his defense is he needs corners because he likes to blitz. So he likes to leave the man-to-man and one-on-ones. He doesn't have corners this year.
Not at all.
So that's why this defense is being...
have get hurt. So.
Yeah, so that's why this defense is as bad as it is, because he heavily relies on corners. And as I said before, they had a chance to get Revis. They had a chance to keep Cromartie.
Keep Cromartie.
I really until someone tells me wrong, I think this was done on purpose by John Izek. I really do.
Could have.
I really do. But back to the draft.
I mean, you have to go quarterback.
Yeah.
I believe you have to go quarterback. I think Geno is not the guy.
I mean, it all comes down to just between two guys. And the funny thing is, they're going to watch them pick Winston and just make the circus even bigger than it already is.
See, now, this was the thing that I was talking about. I was getting told that Mariota is better. I don't know. I like Jameis Winston.
No, I do too, but it would just be fitting for him to go to the Jets with all the off the field stuff.
That's the thing. Jameis Winston, I believe, is going to be a very, very good quarterback in this league. He kind of reminds me of Cam Newton.
Yeah. I can see that.
But I think he's better.
Yeah.
I think he has the...
He's not as big, but in terms of an actual quarterback, and yes, I would agree.
I think that's my comparison that I'm going with. But the thing is, he's got to go to the right team.
Yes.
He's got to go to the right team, and I don't think the Jets are that. I don't think the Jets are the right team for anybody, to be honest with you.
Of course, yeah.
Just because of everything that goes on with it, and to be a New York team. And as much as I hate this team, the Giants are...
I was just going to say the Giants.
Are real, like, they... I mean, how many times do you hear something going on?
I was going to say he needs a team that's coached by a guy like a Coughlin, like a Belichick, like a John Fox, like a Harbaugh. He needs that discipline. He needs someone to say, you need to stop doing what you're doing off the field. That's exactly what he needs.
I think he's going to be a really good quarterback in this league. I mean, just like even with the Cowboys, look at what the Cowboys did with Dez. Look what the Cowboys have done. With their problems. Yeah, they had headaches back in the day, but would they have ever gotten rid of Terrell Owens if if they were?
And look at Aqib Talib too. I mean, he was almost out of the league completely with all the trouble he was getting into on Tampa.
But right there, that team, the Patriots are just the team that if you want to change your life for the better, that's the team that you want to go to.
Yeah. And I mean, Talib is a perfect... You haven't heard anything in the last 2 years from, anything
Absolutely
personal information or anything about Aqib Talib. So,
no.
You're dead on right with Marcus Winston. He needs that structure in an organization. He needs that responsibility, realize the team's bigger than anything else. And if he just goes to the Jets, it's just...
Yeah.
He won't make it very far in this league if he goes to the Jets. I really...
Now, Mariota, on the other hand, I'm never going to be sold on...
I see him as like a West Coast offense kind of guy, like an Alex Smith.
I'm not sold on Oregon quarterbacks.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you.
Just the way that their system is run.
Yeah. He would kill it in Philly.
I was just about to say. And you know what? I mean... What if they were to trade Nick Foles and, a first-round draft pick and maybe a second-round draft pick for...
And honestly, you may not even have to throw that many picks in just because you're already trading a guy that teams are going to... Granted, he is injury-prone, and he has had injuries in the last 3 years at some point. Teams would throw away anything for Nick Foles because quarterback is so important in this league. And honestly, I'm down for that move. I would love to see. I was just thinking about that, a little bit while we were talking about this, but that would be so cool to see. That really would be so cool to see.
I think that would be perfect, for Chip Kelly and Mariota, to be reunited, just in the kind of the same kind of system.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you think about it, the bad teams in the league, you got Tampa Bay. I don't know if they would. I mean,
think about Nick Foles, Vincent Jackson, Mike Evans.
Yeah.
I mean,
you got The Jets, I don't know if they would trade Jacksonville.
Well, the Jets just picked up Percy Harvin. They seem to spend money that.
I mean, if the Jets were smart, I would trade for Nick Foles.
Absolutely.
You give up say you get the
you can give up 2 picks that
pick.
you're probably going to waste anyway on people that aren't even going to make your team. So,
but that's another thing because now you think about it, you get Nick Foles. So right there, it gives you the experience. You don't need to fine tune a rookie.
Yeah,
and then you add maybe a first, second, maybe another first that you can add to this draft and pick up a corner.
Yeah,
if you really need it. They definitely need it. A wide receiver that they definitely desperately need.
Yeah. There are a lot of things that they can.
Did Percy Harvin sign?
Oh no, he's good. Yeah, because he signed last year with Seattle.
Yeah,
right after the Super Bowl. Yeah. So he's still got, I believe it's $61 million total.
Yeah.
On that 6 years or 5 years, something along those lines.
Yeah. So, you got Oakland that is probably going to get the first pick.
Yeah, I think they still believe in Derek Carr. I would assume. Well,
if you think about it, you got Oakland with Derek Carr.
But even a team like the Rams, too. You can throw them. I know they're starting to, believe a little bit more in Austin Davis, and I respect that.
I really do like him.
No, I like him, too, but I'm just saying, if you want to, I don't want to say win now, but get into that win now kind of mentality, you go out and get Nick Foles. You never know.
Yeah. I'm not sold on Nick Foles. I'm not a big believer in him.
He's injury prone, and
he's better than any of the teams that we were talking about.
Exactly.
It's just this year. He last year he had that when he came in and
didn't
had
have a turnover.
He's 13-10 this year.
Yeah.
So obviously that went right out the window. But Jets lose 24-10. Bengals, Jaguars. Bengals win 33-23. We don't.
It's good to see the Jaguars scoring 20 though.
Yeah, exactly.
They're getting there.
They had a chance. They're
getting there.
The Dolphins absolutely slaughtered the Chargers.
Now this is weird because is this like San Diego just said, meh, we're gonna lose anyway, so it just added it up to 37, or the Dolphins actually a good team.
Yeah.
I don't know which one to believe here.
Phillip Rivers had, I think, 3 picks in this game. It's just
the Miami nightlife. Maybe he got to San Diego a little. I don't know, but Dolphins looked very good, and they're
played well.
I think this is 3 in a row for him.
Yeah,
3 wins in a row for the Dolphins. So
they moved to 5-3.
Yeah, they're only a game out of New England, and they already beat New England.
Yeah.
So watch. It's cool to see that. I've always liked Tannehill in a way. I think he's got a little done dirty by the media over time, which they do to everybody anyway.
Exactly.
But I've always liked Tannehill.
Yeah, we're pretty prone to that. We know about that.
Yeah,
our quarterbacks being trashed for no reason.
Yeah.
Vikings, Redskins. This was a good game.
Yeah.
It came down to a last drive by RG3, and he doesn't look good. He's not that.
Yeah, I want to play them, especially when you have a bye next week. Why? Especially when I can't think of his name. I have his
McCoy.
face. Exactly. Yeah, Colt had a very good game last week
against Dallas.
It was very surprising, but it did come out that the upper management was the one that forced it.
Yeah,
it wasn't even a coach's decision. He had no choice in the matter.
Yeah, Jay Gruden wasn't happy after that game. His press conference was.
You can't blame him.
I know.
You're being forced to pick your players.
That's Dan Snyder. That's what he is. That's what he does. You spend all this on RG3.
We gotta get him out there as soon as we can.
So Vikings win this 29-26. Teddy Bridgewater played very well again. I think he's going to be the Vikings in a couple of years.
It would have been he would be doing probably a lot better if he had Adrian Peterson behind him, but
But even Matt Asiata had 3 touchdowns. None of them went over 100, but
he's a touchdown machine though. That guy, I've noticed that. And, down in the red zone, he's that guy.
Yeah, this is his second, third touchdown game of the season. Rams 49ers, we were talking about this before. This came down to Kaepernick at the 1.
Yeah.
With, I think it was, 4 seconds left? Going for a QB sneak, and he fumbled it. St. Louis recovered, and St. Louis won 13-10.
So, obviously...
In San Fran.
Obviously, they could have won for the tie. They didn't, so, a lot of things around that game.
Yeah.
Kaepernick swore he got in the end zone.
Yeah.
To obviously no avail because they lost.
Broncos, Patriots. This game, I mean, thank God it was a 4 o'clock game, because at the 1 o'clock games, it was a blizzard.
Yeah.
And they cleared this field. I mean, if you were to just turn the game on, not seeing anything on Twitter or ESPN or any of the pregame, you would have thought it was just a regular day. The way that the field was totally, cleared off and everything, the sky was, beautiful and everything. But meanwhile, 3 hours before that, it was
the whole field was covered.
Yeah, it was a blizzard. But that also scared everybody, because everybody wanted to see a gun shoot right here with Peyton and Brady, and it ended up coming down to that too. I mean, 43-21, Patriots win this. I mean, to go to this and to compare them,
Brady's better.
Brady's better. It's just
stop. Yeah.
In every sense of the word.
I'll put it in right before break. When you have to say, "Oh, it's cold," Peyton's not going to do that well.
Yeah.
I'm done. I don't have to say anything else.
We're going to get back into this little comparison when we get back. You're listening to Tom and Jerry Sports Show on All Noise Radio on the Live 365 at Keep It Live. Be sure to listen to the Tom and Jerry Sports Show on allnoiseradio.com and the Live 365 app, Wednesdays and Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern.
And welcome back to the Tom and Jerry Sports Show on All Noise Radio and the Live 365 app. We're going to keep going a little bit with the Peyton Brady talk. Obviously, this is, I don't know the exact amount of times they played. It's double digits.
Yeah.
But it's Brady's just better. And
see, the thing is, when you're talking about Brady and Peyton's had the team.
Exactly. Yes.
He's had the team.
He's always had a better team.
Career.
He's always had a better.
His whole career.
At least offensively.
Yes.
Has always had a better team.
Yes. When you think about the Patriots, I mean, Tom Brady's never really had weapons.
And 1 year he did. He threw 54 touchdowns.
That's what I'm saying. Like, when he did have Randy Moss, they broke records.
And almost won 19-0.
And they went 18-1, losing in the Super Bowl. I mean, does that not tell you anything? That's one weapon, too.
That's one, yeah.
That's one.
And I mean, he obviously has one now in Gronk, but with the injuries, he's not.
But he's never had a running game either.
Yes, yeah.
Never had a running game. I mean, who is his best running back? Kevin Falk?
Yeah.
Really? Seriously? Like, I mean, come on. When you look at the Peyton Manning, he had Edgerrin James at one point.
Joseph Adai had some good years.
Adai. Now he had Noshan Moreno. Ronnie Hillman's actually a good. Yeah. I think he's still better than who does the Patriots have? Gray. I mean, seriously.
Vereen, who's a better receiver really than a running back.
Stephen Ridley, it hurts for him to be out for the season, but
he was he was a pretty good back too, but not
and I mean. Yeah, Gronkowski is one of the best tight ends, if not the best tight end in the league.
I would still take Graham, just for health reasons, honestly.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about. Like, how many times has Tom Brady had him a whole full season?
I was just he had to have missed 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Around that time, Gronk.
But yet the Patriots, and I know they're in an easy division when you're talking about the Bills, Dolphins, and the Jets. But, I mean, he does it every year.
Yeah.
He does it every year. Even his bad years still gets him to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I obviously it helps to be in a division like that, but this year, I mean...
this year they got defense really more than anything.
I mean, when you got Revis and then you got Browner, that helps.
And Talib, not to mention.
That helps 100%.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Peyton struggled in this game. He wasn't good. He had the numbers, though, but he had 2 picks. Brady, it was 4 touchdowns and 1 interception, and the interception was a tip pass. And, I mean, when you think about it, the switch from Edelman and Wes Welker, easy. I'm taking Julian Edelman. Easy. I mean, still, Peyton Manning still has a better team.
Yes.
Still.
Yes.
Weapon-wise.
Absolutely.
Tom Brady is just a better quarterback. And he's gonna win this. He's gonna win this battle. And to be honest with you, I don't see, an AFC team that can, maybe knock off the Patriots.
The only team that I'm not saying this as a homer.
No, the
Ravens always play the Patriots extremely well. Yeah, I don't want to say they have Brady's number because I don't think anybody does. But if any team does, it is the Ravens. Yeah. Whether the Ravens even make the playoffs or not to get that chance, we'll find out.
Yeah.
But if that matchup was to come, I'm telling you it would be a close game.
Oh, absolutely.
There's just something about those two teams when they play. It's just always a good game.
But if it comes down to this...
If it comes down to this, yes.
If it comes down to this game...
Especially in New England, which is most likely going to be. Broncos aren't winning.
Patriots are winning this.
And it's going to be around the same score, honestly.
Yeah. But we'll go on to the other game, Seahawks Raiders. This
would have been amazing. If this happened, amazing.
Yeah. Raiders almost pulled one out here. They just, Marshawn Lynch was a little too much for him, for the Raiders in this game. Russell Wilson really didn't have that great of a game. 17 of 35, 179 yards, no touchdowns.
It sounds like every week except the incompletions.
Yeah.
But he's still one of the best in the league somehow.
Yeah, exactly. But Seahawks win this 30-24.
But there's been some locker room stuff going on in Seattle.
Yeah.
It's coming out, people aren't believing in Russell Wilson and saying he's the leader that he is or the quarterback that he is. So it's not all
sunshine and rainbows.
Exactly. So you're going to have to look out for that in Seattle.
The Sunday night game was a good one. It was supposed to be a
started
good one.
Out a good one.
Steelers Ravens.
Big Ben's on a roll. There's no other way to put it.
He's got 12 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in the last 2 games with 836 yards or something like that.
They got to him early too.
Yeah,
which is kind of the disappointing part, I guess. But our secondary is terrible. There's no other way to put it. It's probably one of the worst in the league. We have safeties playing corner. We have
Jimmy Smith got
terrible.
hurt.
Jimmy Smith's hurt. Webb's
this game or last week?
Last week,
yeah.
Webb has been terrible. There's no way to put that. We have 4th and 5th string corners playing 2nd and 3rd string right now. So it's ugly, and they took advantage of it. So give the Steelers credit. But I wish this would have been a little closer. But our secondary is just miserable.
Tonight we got Monday Night Football, Colts Giants. I think it's gonna be a decent.
Should be a good game.
It's here. It's at MetLife.
Should be high scoring too. 2 very good offenses.
Yeah, I
won't put the Giants on the Colts level, but
I don't know if the Giants defense is really gonna be able to stop Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
The Colts defense is okay, but I think it's enough to hold off.
It obviously looked bad last week. The Colts defense. But usually when you see a game like that, they come back.
Yeah, strong.
And exactly. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, but we'll go into next week's games. You got bye teams is Indianapolis, Minnesota, New England, San Diego, Washington, and Houston. The Thursday night game is the Browns and Bengals. I think this is going to be a good game because it's an AFC North game.
AFC North is one of the toughest, not just in record stand-wise, but toughest in the actual word tough.
Yeah. And with the Bengals, they need to win all these games because they have that one tie.
I know they're all over 500. Yeah. Every team in the AFC North.
Yep. So this is going to be a good one. Then you got the Cowboys, Jaguars at 1 o'clock in London. Thank God.
Now, why
it's
is
not at
that one? I was just gonna say, now why is this one 9 and the last one?
I don't know what the deal is, with that one. I don't know why that one was at 9:30. Because even the London game that we had earlier in the season was a 1 o'clock game too.
So that's gonna be like a Tuesday night football for Europe, I guess you could say.
Chiefs Bills.
That's a pretty good game, actually.
Dolphins Lions.
That's a good game.
Yeah,
that's a good game.
Especially the way the Dolphins have been playing. 49ers Saints.
Wow, we got some games here.
Titans Ravens. Ravens should win that game.
Yeah.
Steelers Jets. I mean, he might end up with
Jets.
He might end up with like 9 touchdowns in this game. The way that the Jets defense has been playing, and the teams that he's been doing it against.
Yeah. Now the funny thing with that is he's going to probably have his worst game against the Jets.
Absolutely.
That's just how things work out somehow.
That game's going to be a 3-point game.
I don't understand how, but it's going to happen that way. It just always does.
Here we got a terrible game, Falcons Buccaneers.
Oh, you always get one of those.
Another terrible game, Broncos and the Raiders.
Hey man, the Raiders almost you never know.
Rams Cardinals.
Okay.
That should be a decent game. I would love to see the Rams knock off the Cardinals.
Yeah,
to be honest with you.
I think a lot of people would. I mean, that's 7-1 they are.
Giants Seahawks in Seattle.
It's a horse of a different color for the Giants there, but winnable.
Yeah.
If anything this year, it's been proven that Seattle is beatable. Even in their own building.
Yeah. Then you got Sunday Night Football, Bears Packers. No matter how bad the teams are, no matter how good the teams are, it's going to be a good game. And then you got Monday Night Football, Panthers, Eagles. Actually, the Mark Sanchez headline makes this a little bit better of a game.
You know what? Now that you say that, I'm going to watch that just for a little Marky Mark.
Yeah. So, but that's next week coming up.
Those are some good 1 o'clock games, though. I'm actually happy about that.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
So, but we'll get into a little NBA real quick.
Yeah, we tipped off, I believe, last Tuesday.
Yeah, I believe so.
The day we recorded this, the season tipped off, now it's in full swing. And I mean, Derrick Rose is back playing, so he already missed a game.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not really so far into NBA yet. I mean, still.
I don't blame you. I mean, no offense, but it might be a long year.
It's going to be
a very long year.
A very long year. And I was reading a couple of things. People were saying that if the Lakers do win like 25 to 30 games, Kobe Bryant should be holding up the MVP trophy.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the first game of the season, we lose Joseph Randle for the whole season.
Yeah, that kind of
right away.
Kind of put it in a nutshell.
Yeah, Julius Randle actually. Joseph Randle is the one that was stealing the underwear for the Cowboys.
Yeah, that somehow got a sponsorship out of it.
Yeah, you got the Spurs that are 1-1. Golden State's 3-0. Dallas 2-1. Cleveland loses to the Knicks.
Yeah, in the home opener.
In the home opener, I mean. But
then they come back the next day and beat Chicago. So
yeah,
and that's what I never understood. Even, I get it. LeBron's got to mesh with his new teammates and everything like that. The Bulls are not better than Cleveland. I'm sorry, they're just not better. Even with Derrick Rose, they're just not better. I'm sorry.
It's just me. It's just weird because you had the Bulls just pick apart the Knicks like it was not even like it. I mean, I think it was a 30-point game. And then, they go up against Cleveland that lost to the Knicks.
Yeah.
And
it's funny how a little...
Yeah. So, Chicago's 2-1. Cleveland's 1-1. Memphis 3-0. Miami's 3-0. Clippers...
They're going to make the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Miami. So, that would be a great matchup. Cleveland, Miami. Oh, boy.
Yeah. But, I mean, you have the Lakers that are 0-4. I mean, I don't even know what to say about.
Yeah. Well,
it's bad.
On the bright side,
Kobe's playing well.
Yeah, and you're not number 30 in the power rankings. So you got a little bit of respect.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. Kobe is playing well, and the fun thing to see is watching the games. Although they're not fun or whatever, but you're seeing Kobe teach.
Yeah.
And that's it's a cool thing to see from basically one of the best players to ever play the game.
Yeah.
You see him teaching or coaching, Lynn out on the court, telling him what to do as the point guard and things like that. That's something fun to see.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna pick it up or anything. They have.
Would have been nice to get Randall some time with Kobe, but that obviously.
But I mean, if you kind of look at their team isn't bad. I mean, Jeremy Lin is a decent point guard. Carlos Boozer may be a little towards the end of his career, but I mean, he's still a decent power forward. Kobe's still doing Kobe. He hasn't lost a step or anything.
Yeah.
He's still reverse jamming.
I think they'll get a little better as time goes. This is another meshing too. A lot of these guys are new. Kobe didn't play last year at all.
The whole team's new. Yeah. You got a new coach.
So there's some growing pains here.
Yeah. But I mean, that'll do it for the Tom and Jerry Show. I'm Jerry.
And I'm Tom.
Be breezy.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Tom and Jerry Show.